My name is Nils Hellberg. I'm the CTO at Virti, and we are building a platform for immersive training using AI and VR. A significant moment in time that had a big impact on me technology-wise is the whole file sharing revolution. So when BitTorrent became a thing. So both from like a pure technological standpoint, where you had things like video compression, audio compression that allowed you to share these massive files using a decentralized network, free from any like powers to control you. And that was really exciting to me, and also how that sort of kickstarted a whole social movement. And today we wouldn't have Netflix, we wouldn't have any of these streaming services if it wasn't for that. And when I started working in Sweden, I was quite close to things like the Pirate Bay, and the first startup we did was actually centered around file sharing. So we were using the BitTorrent protocol to share legal content, and I think that was quite funny. It was like a bit of a wild west period in the time of startups as well. So we were riding new technology, but we were also very sensitive to legislation. So when all the governments decided to like block the Pirate Bay and all the file sharing sites, our startup sort of toppled with it. But it was still very exciting, and for me personally, like the social movement that came out of it was very profound. And then I think another defining moment from more of a leadership perspective was my first job in London. Was for a big sports betting company, and for whatever reason, 2 months into the job, my boss at the time, John, who I'm eternally grateful to, he decided to make me team leader. And I've managed people before, but this was a team of, I think, 10 or 12 people, all from different countries in Europe, managing their own websites. And I think that's when I first realized that managing people isn't really about telling them what to do and the technical stuff. It's more building an environment where people can perform to the best of their ability, and you do that by building culture. And I think that's when I realized that A, it's different from what I thought, and B, that's something that I really enjoy doing. And that's what I really enjoy as a CTO now as well, getting that culture right to see people being the best versions of themselves and really thrive in the workplace. Yeah, so I think in the space we're in, there's always changes, like technologically, especially with AI and things like that. And the best way to handle that is you need to always be agile. And the way we do that is we try to be as service agnostic as possible. So, we use things like OpenAI and everything, but we try to build our product in a way so we can switch out a service if something else comes along. And you always have to think about like the moat of your business. Like if your whole core idea is relying on a third-party service, if someone else comes along with a better service, or if that service changes, you're going to be in trouble, right? So ChatGPT came along. We had a product which is relying on talking to an AI. So obviously that was a massive challenge, but we could very quickly harness ChatGPT and use that and make our product better. And I think being agile and being able to quickly change is super important. One thing that I try to do, like a good thought experiment, is if you think that tomorrow I'm going to start a new startup and I'm going to solve exactly the same problem I'm solving at the moment, what would I build in the first 2 weeks? How would I do it? And how quickly would I get there? And it's sort of like throwing away all your legacy code, all your the thing that you think that and start afresh. And that way you can sort of course correct pretty quickly and find new ways to do things. So if you come across people who are very nervous about adapting AI, I think be very careful with like what data you share and how you use the data that is being outputted by the AI systems. If there's security and concerns, there's some ways to do this to use some of the bigger services like Azure OpenAI rather than the standard OpenAI service. You get a lot more like really solid security guarantees. I also think, like start out using AI in a non-critical way. It's not going to be 100% reliable. So look at things like where can you speed up things you already do rather than try and like solve something completely new with AI. So I think one of the interesting things as well is the more you use AI, the quicker you see that it's not as great as it's made out to be. Like the more you use it, you reach the limitations pretty quickly. And I think a lot of these, obviously there's dangers with all new technology, but some of it is from a lack of understanding and a belief that it's much more powerful than it is. Like unless you give the AI very precise instructions, you're not going to get very good responses back. So the first piece of advice is just start using it as much as possible, and then you can stop being afraid of it, basically. Yeah, so I think the tech sector in the Southwest is unique because it is the Southwest. It's not London, right? So it might be harder to get funding. It might be harder to join accelerators and stuff. Although we got some very good programs for that. But the thing that really makes it unique is the community for me, and it's like you really get stronger bonds with people here. I think like there's nothing, no project where I need external help. I will always know someone, in the Southwest who can help me, and that's not someone I go to a open job board or something. That's someone that either I know or someone that I know can personally recommend. And I think that's what we need to, really take advantage of, those really close knit communities and try and use that to our advantage as much as possible.